Oh, see, I flubbed already. I forgot to do the trailer. The same thing happened with my buddy Joe. Now why is it not playing? Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Sunday Night Live. I kind of goofed up there. I'm on remote and the video didn't quite play when it was supposed to because I didn't click it. But welcome. This week we're doing our segment on SkillsUSA and TechForce. TechForce is a wonderful organization that is slated to give out about $4 million worth of scholarships to students that want to get into automotive. And also they do fleet and I think aviation, right? So I have my guest here, Jason Scales. Welcome.
Hey, well, thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Where do you want me to start? How far do I go back?
Not past fifth grade.
Not past. Okay, I won't go that far. Well, hey, thanks for having me on the show, and it's great to be here. I actually came from the great state of Missouri, where I was officially started as an agricultural education instructor. I taught high school for 5 years, and then I moved on up to the university level, and I taught ag education and ag mechanization for 8 years. And it's kind of funny, we're sitting here talking about a partnership, right?
Yeah.
And I am a firm believer in quality and great partnerships. And while I was at the university, we had a good partnership with Lincoln Electric, the welding company.
Okay.
And they were doing some investments in education and working in education and such. And so opportunity came up to move over to industry. Worked for Lincoln Electric for 12 years and eventually built up to working and driving the global education business for Lincoln Electric before coming to SkillsUSA. So quite a long little bit of history in education, both in education and industry, but wouldn't change anything.
And you're a guy that tinkers on cars and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, well, one is to save money, right? Because it gets too expensive to fix them. But one is because when I was younger, I couldn't afford to get them fixed. So if it was broke, we just had to figure it out.
Right.
I mean,
right.
that's just the way it was. But yeah, I love tinkering cars.
All right. So there's a tremendous need for skilled employees. And I'm going to pull up a thing here. And let's see here. So 60% of skilled manufacturing jobs go unfilled each year due to a skills gap. And that's expected to lead to 2 million unfilled jobs by 2025.
Yeah. And that's just one sector. I mean, we're not even talking about the automotive sector. We're not talking about the trucking industry. We're not talking about electricians. We're not talking about plumbers. We're not talking about all these other ones. And, you know, when you think about what's going on in industry today, all across America, it's just, we're almost like on an employee battle, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the unemployment rates in the U.S., there's 0.75. Let me read. 0.75 people for every job that's open in America today.
That's crazy.
It is. But there are more jobs than we have people.
Okay.
And so when you start thinking about skilled trades, we start thinking about all these different sectors that need employment, we're all now starting to battle for the right talent. And we're starting to see how companies are engaging differently now.
Yeah.
Going down into the middle schools, trying to get that engagement, trying to get that awareness of these different careers.
Yeah.
So they start building these pipelines of talent that they can depend on.
Okay.
Right? So it's really kind of changing this whole ecosystem that we're looking at.
Ah. Robert Allen Carvel, good evening. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you as well. You know, it's funny. I'm on the road so much that I have so many stores that I have to go to. So I'm spending a lot of my time scheduling travel and meetings. And then I'm about to get on the plane and I realize, like, oh man, I scheduled travel on Father's Day. I have no idea. I've just so much stuff going on.
I won't tell you how many questions I got about that one. But it's good to be here tonight with you, Paul.
And you know, he doesn't live too far from where I am at the hotel, so this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. Well, happy Father's Day to everybody out there.
Yeah, happy Father's Day. So that's just a startling number. 25%. There's just not enough
Yeah.
people to
And
fill a job.
it's not going to get any better. I mean, we're not looking for it to get better for another 18 years minimum.
18 years, I could
Well,
be dead in 18
Well, yeah,
years.
right. So, well, right. But any of us could. But think about now the birth rates that were going on in the United States. I mean, you start getting into data, birth rates were on a decline until we went to COVID. And then there's a little blurb, but those people aren't going to impact the workforce for 18 years.
Right.
And so as your labor rates are going down, unemployment is going down, jobs are going up. Now there's a discrepancy between the amount of available talent and the amount of jobs that are open. And so it's just not a short-term challenge that we're going to have. It's long-term.
Now, where it gets interesting for automotive is that there are other sectors poaching our people,
Right.
right? You got HVAC and some of these other industries.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just think, I mean, so when I was in welding and working in the welding education industry, there were companies that would stand outside welding schools and basically tape $100 bills on the hoods of cars saying, call me when you get out. I have a job for you.
Wow.
Yes. I mean,
That's crazy.
And when you talk about the skilled trades and what's going on in the trades, I mean, and as things, move and as things bend and grow, it's just so many people are retiring, so many people have left the workforce that it's just left this void. And it's almost like we have a dumbbell, right? So you got a lot of young people, you got a lot of older people,
Yeah.
but the problem, there's not much here in the middle.
Okay.
And so the challenge that we face too is when you think about this is I'm losing a lot of this talent coming out of our workforce. I'm bringing in a lot of young skilled talent, but where's that true rich experience? Where's the true knowledge base that we enjoyed from that person that's retiring, that could walk in, fix anything, answer any question, no matter what the situation was, they could do it. And so now we're talking about apprenticeship programs. Now we're talking about internship and externship, work-based learning programs. So companies are looking at a lot of things so differently because not only is it now getting access to that talent, but how do they grow that talent? How do they invest in that talent and they keep that talent moving?
Training.
Training is big.
Education.
Yes.
Got a couple of comments coming in here. Let's see, Jamie Alexander. Hi, all. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Jason Gildner. These young folks with all these skills need a way to self-advocate for themselves in a meaningful way. I could not agree more. Whoops. And Jamie Alexander says electrical industries are poaching technicians big time right now. And you know what? If you're at a dealership, the aftermarket is going after your people right now also, because I regularly take a look at what's happening in employment.
Mhm.
So I look at the Indeed ads and things
Sure.
like that, and I see ads targeted at dealer personnel, targeting specific areas where they're unhappy, we'll say,
Yep.
to go after that. So,
Well, which is great for the workers, good for the employee, right?
Yeah.
Because now they can actually look at opportunities, which is the right opportunity for them, what provides the right benefits, what provides the right maybe work-life balance.
Yeah.
It provides as maybe more stability for them. And so I think really employers are really looking at that also. But that's also an opportunity. We think about Skills USA or we think about TechForce or these other organizations, right? Because what we do in Skills USA, and we call it our Skills USA framework,
yeah.
and that's where we work on personal skills, workplace skills, and then technical skills.
Okay.
So I think there's so many dynamics going on in the industry today. You think about the amount of youth that actually get a job when they turn 15, and what that rate of youth working is compared to when you and I were 15. going out mowing the lawns, trying to make that
Oh,
dollar.
I had
You know,
lawn accounts, shoveling
right.
accounts,
I mean, I would switch a job for
newspapers.
25 cents more an hour. I mean, we were only making what, 275 back in that day?
But not a lot.
No, but if I could get 25 cents more an hour, I was switching. I was going to something else. Well, when I was working with Lincoln and working in manufacturing, helping out manufacturers, the other challenge we're facing now is I call it first generation workers.
Yeah.
So these students, their very first job could be when they get out of school. It could be when they reach a point to say, I think I really need to start making some more money here. I need to
Yeah.
get engaged in the workforce. And so a lot of industries are really looking at this. And when you look at students that come from SkillsUSA or programs like TechForce and stuff like that, because we have these different these different programs that we integrate in there, we're
Yeah.
working on those workplace skills along with the technical skills that they're obtaining. So there's power in these organizations when we're working with youth to really set them up for success when they hit that job market.
Covering all the bases, really.
Well, yeah, we're trying to make that complete person, right? And so a lot of times now, when you think about the what's going on in workforce or the labor force, in industry is engaging in a different way because you or I may find ourselves in a position where we need to go find a job, right? We may not have all the technical skills needed for that job.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we can't go get the job, but now industry is saying, I will train you. I will put you through schooling. I will invest in you if you will come work for me. And so that's really changing in the workplace, and it's not a disadvantage, right? There's plenty of jobs out there.
Right.
We have 413,000 members in SkillsUSA. 413,000 members.
There's crazy.
Plenty of jobs out there for all 413,000 members, right? So I'm not worried about competing against one organization or the other, or industry says we're going to train our own. There's such a need. I think that's where SkillsUSA students really hold an advantage in the workplace. And that's what we bring. It's like, give you a little bit more. You're one step higher on the rung than maybe the average.
It's a lot more than just the mechanical part of the training.
Right. Yeah, we're training the whole person.
Let's see. Jamie Alexander says, coming from the aftermarket world, where a technician gets frustrated with aftermarket is the lack of equipment and technology where dealerships can provide those expensive tools. That is 100% spot on.
Yeah.
So walk me through a process, let's say. So
Okay.
how does someone get started with SkillsUSA? Where and when does it start?
It can start all the way down in the middle school level.
Okay.
So when we think about engagement with our students and stuff like that, we think about first there's an awareness.
Yeah.
Okay. And from awareness, we go to exposure. So think about those middle school students going all the way up to freshman, sophomore.
Yeah.
How do we sit there and get them excited about these career and technical education, about these skilled trades, about working in the automotive industry,
Yeah.
working wherever? How do we really set the hook in them so that when they come up to the high school level, they're thinking, I'm going to the automotive lab. I'm going to go learn to be that technician. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to go into that. I found that affinity working with cars, working with my hands. I like turning the wrench.
Yeah.
I like the computers. I like this stuff. It's a high-tech world. Or maybe they say, I rode into my friend's Porsche. I'm going to work for Porsche. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to do that. Or I'm going to work on a race team. So you set that hook through that. And then once they get into the right program, then we got to engage them, right? So we got to get them engaged. We got to get them in labs. We got to get them learning and working.
Yeah.
And then we build up that experience with them. So then they can start, maybe they do a local event and they do some competitions locally. Then maybe they go regionally and do some events regionally. Then they can go to the state and then they can go to the national. And if they're chosen and they work hard, they can make it to the World Skills event. So there's a hierarchy that they can work themselves up into, and certainly not all 413,000 members do that, right? It's kind of a pyramid, but because that opportunity exists, that's how you benchmark programs, that's how you determine excellence, that's how you motivate students, that's how you do these things. And so I like to say that we have this continuous wheel to where we're building the awareness and the exposure,
Yeah.
we're engaging, we're providing experience, and then we recognize their achievements. And that's a lot through competitions, and that's a lot through other spaces.
Now, you brought up an important part before, and I have to find this. Let's see if I can find it, because on mobile, it's a little bit different. Hopefully, I don't turn on the, I turn,
We have the perfect setting here.
yeah. When you get old, your eyes are the first thing to go. You know?
Right.
Where is it? Not that one, not that one.
You want a magnifying glass?
No, I can see it, but it cuts it off there. Um,
It's really bad when you wear bifocals and you start looking like this and everything because you're.
but the hook, so to speak,
Yeah.
is like the drift event,
Yes.
right? That I'm going to next Friday.
Yes.
At Englishtown, New Jersey. So that's going to expose young people to a drift event, which is pretty exciting. I mean, what young person would not be interested in going to see a drift event,
Right.
right? So that's going to expose them to cars, to mechanics, and get some interest going.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, why did I really start liking engines and motors? And what really first impressed me about it was when I went to an NHRA drag race, my first one I ever went to. Big
Fond
people just,
memories.
well, nobody understands it because if you sit here and pound your chest like this,
Yeah.
that's what you feel as a car
Yeah.
runs by you.
Yeah.
And it's so much power. And then you go to the pits, and these guys are ripping down a motor in 15 minutes,
Yeah.
rebuilding it back up, fire that
Yeah.
dude up, got the gas mask on, and you're just thinking, this is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just kind of what fired me up about engines. And then once you get fired up about that and you start, then it just kind of all just takes off.
No, you're 100% correct. Automotive Service Technology Competition.
Yes.
So you have a list here,
Oh, it's a big one.
all these different competitions around the country.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so explain how that works.
So SkillsUSA is in all states, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. We're all across the United States. So some states may have a bigger membership than others. Okay, but we're represented in all states. And so what happens is a student that is enrolled in a career and technical education program,
Yeah.
and that school has a SkillsUSA chapter, then through that state, they can work through the competition system in that state. So we have a listing of all the different opportunities at the National Leadership and Skills Conference.
Okay.
That's the nationals. Then you have the state, which is down here.
Yeah.
So the state will run their own state leadership and skills competition. And it may look a little different than the nationals, and that's fine because
But it's all part of the same organization.
it's all part of the same organization.
Okay.
But the state may have something specific that they need because they have a workforce need, they have a talent need,
Yeah.
they're working with their industry in that area. So even in automotive technology, they may just do a competition around brakes or around chassis, around auto refinishing or something
Yeah.
like that. So they may have more opportunities at the state level. And then at the national level, we have a certain set of
Okay.
competitions at the national level.
Now, let me see that list of the different the proficiencies that they.
Oh my gosh, this one.
Okay.
Yes.
This is a huge list here.
Yeah. So you can start looking at them. I mean, it goes through diagnostics, it goes through brakes, it goes through chassis. And the cool thing about this is that business and industry is 100% involved in developing these technical standards.
This is huge.
Yeah.
There are pages. There's a whole stack of pages here, and you could see how much information is on each page.
Yeah.
So they have to become proficient in. They should be proficient in all of it
Correct.
in order to be able to compete at any level.
Yeah. So a student, in SkillsUSA, a student, for example, Nathan's going to be representing us at World Skills this year, right?
Nathan Williams?
Well,
Just ironically, Nathan.
no,
put the
no,
comment in.
no, it's different Nathan. But Nathan's going to be representing us at World Skills in Lyon, France in September.
Ah.
Now he just didn't compete once to earn the right to go to Lyon.
Okay.
So he started competing as a sophomore. You know, he did well, he did good. Then came back the next year. He had more skills, he had more knowledge, he placed higher. went back, came back his senior year, more skills, more knowledge, more experience coming in. Boom, he wins Illinois. Then he wins nationals. Then he wins the chance to go represent the U.S. at the world competition. So these students have multiple chances to show their expertise and also build up that skill level that's going to help them compete both at a state, national, and at an international level.
So if I was somebody out there and I knew there was a young person that was interested in this field of work, I'd get them involved in something like this, because a guy or a gal that goes through this kind of training, that learns all this knowledge,
Yeah.
and then competes at various levels, a person like that can write their own ticket, really.
Well, right, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Right, because I mean, you think about Nathan, you think about his the chief expert Mike. I mean, they have a passion for the automotive space.
Yeah.
And that's the real trick, and that's the real magic with Skills USA, is a lot of these students find that passion.
Yeah.
And once you find the passion and really kind of what makes you tick, what makes you get up in the morning and say, all right, I'm gonna go do this today. We're gonna get this. We're gonna hit it head on. Is when you find that passion, it just unlocks so much potential. It just makes you, it brings you courage, it brings you confidence, and you are limitless at the end of the day.
Brings
There's
you
nothing
offers.
you can't do.
It brings you a lot of offers.
Well, right, but look, it's that passion that's going to drive that offer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come to you and offer you this unless I see something in you.
Yeah.
I see this thing that I'm always
Fire.
wanting to learn. I'm always wanting to push it. I'm always willing to test myself out.
Yeah.
Because the cool thing is, I mean, there's a lot of influencers on YouTube. There's a lot of influencers on Instagram and stuff like that. And there's some that I watch because just one, I enjoy the content, but it's also this unborn willingness to learn. Like, hey, I've never done this before, but we're going to get through this today. And it could be replacing a clutch in a Porsche. It could be replacing frame members and structural components on a car, right?
Yeah.
And they just get through it. It's just like, it's so simple. As long as you know how to do it and have the right tools, that has been mentioned before,
Half the job.
it actually kind of becomes fun.
Huh. Nathan Williams said schools should look at teaching employability skills at least starting in grade 9.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a good point.
Well, yeah, and we do that at SkillsUSA through our SkillsUSA frameworks. Remember, we build the personal skills, we build the workplace skills, and then also the technical skills. And there's actually competitions at the state and national level that students can use to practice that job interview, extemporaneous speaking, public
They
speaking.
help them with that too.
Absolutely. Remember, we got to develop the whole person here.
Right.
Right. Just because you have a skill doesn't always mean you're employable.
Right.
So we want everybody to be employable, everybody to succeed, everybody to find that path.
Jamie Alexander, absolutely. If you have the passion, you will be confident and consistent in your drive. 100%. And Nathan Williams says, to your point, Jamie, you have to want it bad.
Yep.
So that's huge opportunity there. How many people are there in the whole organization?
So in the national office, that compete?
Yeah.
So across the United States, just this last year, across all states at the state level events, in the ones that we use it, so it's not 100%.
Okay.
We had over 78,000 students competing across all the state level events in the United States. And then next week in Atlanta, Georgia, we're inviting 6,500 of our new closest students, our friends, to come compete at the national level in 115 different events.
So is there a schedule as to how and when they would compete at the state levels before they go on to nationals and
Right.
further?
Yeah. So the state is usually in the spring. We have a couple of states in late February, mostly in March, and then some trail off in April.
Okay.
But you can always look up your state. Just Google your state and SkillsUSA,
Okay.
and you will usually typically find that website for your state association.
Ah.
And if you want to get engaged, here's the trick, folks. like at NLSC, we will have over 200 volunteers helping at the national event. Every state has volunteers helping at the state event. So if you want to get engaged, there's ways to get engaged with SkillsUSA to help these students. You can do it at the state competition, and sometimes there's regionals.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need help with technical committees and things like that. So there are ways to get involved with SkillsUSA. And simplest thing is just Google your state, SkillsUSA, contact the state director, contact that office, um, and have a discussion.
So you're a dealer. You
Mhm.
want to get involved with SkillsUSA and you volunteer for some of these events. It sounds like you meet a whole lot of really great kids.
Yeah. And for so many times, years, it was kind of like, and I think more is happening now in the marketplace is that the dealerships and dealership networks, I was in one state, and I won't name the state. I was in one state where all of the dealerships actually came together and said, we're going to start up a scholarship fund. We're going to start up a way because we all need technicians.
Right.
And let's stop fighting each other for technicians. So let's all come together. We'll provide scholarships. We're going to find internships. We're going to do this stuff because if we don't come together and work together to build this pipeline of talent, we're all going to be in trouble. And so you're
Wait a
starting
minute,
this.
wait. A group of dealers got together
Yeah,
and all for one.
all for one, because they realize they can't do it alone.
Wow.
So if, again, going back to that awareness and getting that engagement, if you can do that young and start showing students the pathway, you're gonna have more success. So if you're that local dealer,
Yeah.
then that local dealer going over to the career center, going over to the community college, getting engaged with that program, that's how you're gonna start getting that pipeline of talent coming into your dealership. And not all the time is it like, give me a car for 6 months or do this for me or do.
Right.
Sometimes it's just access to the dealership and just open the doors and let the students see what's going on in your dealership.
Are there apprenticeships that come out of this with dealerships?
Well, very well could be. And I apologize. I don't have all the apprenticeship programs memorized, but apprenticeship is actually gaining a lot of favor in the United States. Some states, they have different names for it, but it basically boils down to apprenticeship, right? And that's where a student is typically employed, so could be employed by the dealership. The dealership is sponsoring a program. They're going to school,
Right.
learning the skills, learning the trade while working. And some dealerships and in different industry sectors, they're already doing that on their own without the influx of apprenticeship programs or things like that. They've already figured out that if we don't get engaged in this training pathway, if we don't start building our own talent, then we're going to be in trouble. We're not going to have a business long term. So they're looking at that as a key investment long term, so they can keep their doors open and keep that talent coming into their places of work.
So I'm just trying to understand now. What they learn from SkillsUSA is it classes?
Well, yeah. So let's break it apart.
Structured.
So SkillsUSA, yes, is intracurricular, but SkillsUSA is called a career and technical student organization.
Okay.
Okay, so we are the organization that students can all join. So the Career Center would have a SkillsUSA chapter
Yeah.
that could consist of automotive technology students, welding students, cosmetology students, barbering students,
Yeah.
culinary arts students. It's the whole mix, right?
Yeah.
And then the classroom is run by the local school district or community college.
Okay.
Okay, so the curriculum is managed by
By the
by the school.
Okay.
We are the student organization that really focuses on the leadership abilities, the career success, and then we host the competitions.
The tie-in stuff, the skills,
Yes.
the soft skills.
Yes. So they're learning hard skills at their schools.
Yeah.
All right. They're competing at a SkillsUSA event to demonstrate their proficiency or level of skill. And then we're recognizing that through awards, medals, and different things like that.
So you're really working hand in hand with the schools.
Well, yeah, the advisor is the instructor,
Okay.
right? So it's intercurricular, it's in the schools.
So it coincides then with however long they go to school for.
Sure, absolutely. So right now, if you think about our membership, 90% of our membership is at the high school level.
Yeah.
About 8% is post-secondary, so that's trade schools, private schools,
Yeah.
your community colleges, and then about 2% down in middle school. Right?
Middle school, are they too young to go into the dealership?
No, absolutely not. In fact, there's a lot of manufacturing, a lot of dealerships, and a lot of different networks are opening up their places of work for those middle school students to come in and get a glimpse, right? We know that middle school students start forming awareness of potential careers and start really deciding what direction they want to go.
Right.
So you want to, again, you want to bring that awareness and engage them at that middle school level. Get their minds thinking, man, I really could do that one day. I could do this one day. And then they just show them the path to get that training and gain those skills, and then the magic starts to happen.
If I'm a savvy dealer, I could build a bullpen out of this.
Yeah, you could. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when did they learn the soft skills part of it?
So they'll learn that through the chapter. They'll learn it through when the curricula of SkillsUSA gets integrated into the classroom.
Okay.
All right. And we have a national partner right now that I was visiting in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was a fantastic event. And they hire and they recorded that they've hired over 20 SkillsUSA students in their manufacturing facility. And it's made such a difference for them. They are seeking out SkillsUSA students to hire because those students that came out of SkillsUSA, they're growing faster in the organization than students that typically don't come from SkillsUSA.
Well, they get so much more training. I mean,
Yeah, right.
that's kind of a no-brainer. Any particular success stories that pop into your head?
Well, there's too many to count. I mean, honestly, there is. It's and that's the really the beauty behind SkillsUSA is that the students can take it as far as they want. And that doesn't mean when we say we have 6,500 students competing at nationals,
Yeah.
over 78,000 competing at the state level, 400 and some odd thousand that are members. Every member gets impacted by SkillsUSA. Just because they may not compete at a state level or a national level doesn't mean they're not going to be successful.
Ah,
Right? They're learning the skills in the classroom. They're doing the work. They're getting the jobs.
they're not all competing,
No.
but they're definitely all getting the
Right.
skills.
And so sometimes we may even have students that say, look, I would love to come compete at the national level. I would love to do this stuff. I would love to go to World Skills, but I already have a job and I'm working. I love it. And I want to keep doing this. We had another student, this student came out of Utah, and he was competing, representing the United States in welding. Um, he is running a very successful business now in welding out in Utah. And I mean, he's doing fabulous. He's got multiple employees. He's always adding talent, always taking on bigger projects. So it's not even that's what a lot of people miss too, is that it's not just about also students getting placed in a job.
Right.
It's the entrepreneurs out there as well, right? And so a lot of these students may start their own company. They may find a niche and go do that work. I mean, think about small engines. Have you had your mower tuned up lately?
Uh, I live in a condo association.
Oh man, look at you.
I don't have to mow
Yeah.
anything.
Well, I had to mow, and I went to go get my mower tuned up. And it's hard to find a place, one, that can get your mower in under 2 months and get
Yeah.
it looked at.
Because everybody's hurting for
right. So just think some of these students learning some of these skills and these skills, you can make a lot of money tuning up lawnmowers. I mean, because it's just a skill that's kind of the small engines, power sports is huge. Jet skis, boats,
Yeah.
all of them, weed eaters, lawn trimmers, it's just, and so we can't discount the entrepreneurs too, that are starting their own little businesses, starting to create jobs and that economic mobility.
Nathan Williams says, yes, Jason, instead of fighting each other, they have to band together and step up to the plate rather than pass the buck. And he also says, it's kind of like American Idol. You may not win, but it can change your life. That's a great way to put it.
Absolutely. But maybe we ought to just steal that slogan from Nathan. We're gonna don't trademark that, Nathan. We're gonna take that. No.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just think about it. When students go compete and they make it these different levels, it could just even be an honor getting there.
Right, right.
Just the ride to get there. A lot of times,
Part of it.
yes. And then they may get a couple of hiccups but there's another time to go. There's another time to go, right? And I think you start to build that resiliency too, because you like food, you like cars, all of this stuff. There's probably some meals that you made that probably just didn't work out, right?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah, I tried it one time. The dough did not come out good.
Well,
Yeah, it just
I could.
didn't happen.
My daughter asked me one time. She says, "Dad, how do you know how to fix so many things?" I was like, "Well, because I broke so many things, and I just had to figure it out." And I think too, when we look at this, when we look at skills development and kind of what we were just trying to get to with Nathan, is that not everybody finds the fullest degree of success,
Right.
but that's okay. Because I also kind of build a mantra that failure is an option. I think we learn more from failing. We learn more from trying. We learn
right.
more from these different things. So like, yeah, I broke a lot of things, but I learned a lot of things.
Right, right.
And I don't think we give students enough time, as we don't give our youth enough time to go just, I'm not saying destroy things, but
No, I get it.
honestly learn from the mistakes. Like, okay, what happened? How come that didn't work? What happened here? What happened there?
The medical field does that.
Yeah, but we don't do it with skills a lot.
No, we don't. We don't do that.
And so I think, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, in the medical field, when they do their residency, whether they're post-year graduate 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, they are allowed to, this is kind of a scary thing when you think about it, they are allowed to make mistakes because that's how they learn.
Right.
And sometimes not so good things happen from those mistakes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you just don't
right.
want to be the guy laying on the bed when they say, "Hey, this is a student, first time poking
Yeah.
the needle in."
You don't want to go on the weekend. You definitely don't want to go on the weekend.
Right.
Nathan Williams says, but Paul, pizza isn't all that complicated to make. Well, my friend Frank Zabsky, he has the New Haven Pizza School. He teaches people how to make New Haven style pizza, which arguably is the best in the world. I'm just going to put that out there. But yeah, it was not that good for me. And Nathan says people really need to remove the stigma from failure. No one learns if they quit after just one mistake. Hey, you know what? For years we talk about failure is not an option. Failure is not an option, like it's something bad. But yeah, we learn. If you don't make mistakes, you're not going to get better because you're not going to learn anything from it.
Right. Yeah, I just wish I wouldn't made some of them. There's some that cost a lot of money.
Unfortunately, I think we've all made a few of those.
Right.
Now, you handle automotive, obviously.
Yep.
But there are many other sectors, right?
Yes. I mean, photography, nursing assistant, nail care, electrical, early childhood education, culinary arts. Now, culinary arts, see that's a good one too, because sometimes you have to taste the food. And there's some pretty good stuff.
Do I look like I missed so many meals, Jason?
No, I see you're a fine connoisseur like I am, right? You just never miss a good opportunity to eat.
No.
So you can even have fun with Skills USA in some of these events. But yeah, I mean, we have Barbary, we have all kinds of stuff going on.
So I'm in Connecticut, and I would definitely be interested to learn a little bit more, on this drift event I'm doing with TechForce and Accelerate on next Friday, which that's great. But yeah, no, I'm gonna look into Skills USA in Connecticut and find out how I can get involved with that,
Oh, absolutely.
because that's right in our wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
We want to support our organization.
Yeah, and that's what makes the partnership with TechForce so powerful, right? Is because just like we talked about the dealerships all coming together and banding together. So at SkillsUSA, we're really good at developing the leadership skills. We're really good at developing the chapters. We're really good at the competitions.
Yeah.
Right? TechForce is awesome at building awareness, getting that engagement, having these different opportunities. And that's why the partnership works so well, is because there are spaces that we're really good at Skills USA. There's spaces that TechForce is really good at, like setting up a drifting event,
Right.
setting up or getting access for students to the drifting event, getting access to some of these large car auctions that are out there, getting access to some of these different races so students can get that awareness and get that different level of engagement, right? And so that's how this partnership really works. And so, we always say too is that it's great to advocate nationally, but we got to act locally,
Right.
right? And so with TechForce and Skills USA, we can do both.
Now, if you haven't created your free account yet, go to techforce.org, sign up for a free account, kind of poke around there, see what's involved. There are all kinds of training videos, wonderful training videos, because, what they learn in the classroom is one thing, plus all of the soft skills that go on top of that. But on techforce.org, there's library of videos. How does an alignment work? How do you replace a window regulator? These are all things that when you have young people that we're trying to get excitement, build excitement to bring into our business, they can learn so much from those videos. I mean, I've learned tremendous amounts of videos. I was telling you before, the nav system went on one of my Lexus cars.
Yeah.
They wanted $3,000. I'm not paying that. I dug deeper and watching a YouTube video. I found this company in Cincinnati that rebuilt the DVD drive for $279 plus shipping. And for just over $300, I fixed the car myself from learning from videos. So the videos that you have available, it's huge. Now this comes across. See this? I told you there's some glitches here. This is another one. LinkedIn user. I have no idea who that is. Could be Craig Tomaszek for all I know. Says former Skills USA state champion for auto service technology with a raised hand emoji. Let me see if it will show on
Cool.
this platform, because that's very cool. Yes,
Yeah.
there we go, Craig. See, it doesn't show here,
Right.
and it shows right here.
Well, congratulations, Craig.
That's awesome, man. And Nathan says, we know you're a fan of good food, Paul. I have read some of your most recent posts after all. Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I know what I like.
Food
You know,
junkies.
I know what I like. So, but getting back to the techforce.org website, so all these videos, you can learn things and build your knowledge. They're not certification videos, but let's face it, some of the best chefs that I've met have worked their way up through the ranks. And having access to a video library like that is huge. And it's also great because right on the website, it shows you what the scholarship opportunities are, how to apply for them, all that, all in that one techforce.org website.
Right. And look, I would be remiss if I didn't say it. Both Skills USA and TechForce, that's the way we exist is through our partners.
Yeah.
And so both organizations, we can support more students with good partners.
Right.
So the more partners that we have, the more students that we can serve. And at the end of the day, all of what we do is about the student. Because if we're not driving to that student, we're not building programs for the students, we're not building opportunities for the students, then, we're just another organization. So when you support a program like TechForce and like Skills USA,
Yeah.
you're impacting students. And that's the biggest part of this, is that we're driving students to better careers. We're building those workplace skills, those technical skills. We're doing it all. And with partners like TechForce to introduce them to new opportunities, bring new engagement, bring new awareness to all these things, it's unstoppable. It's just an unstoppable partnership.
Now, so you rely on donations as well.
So we do. I mean, at the end of the day,
Sponsorships.
yeah. I mean, and we have a lot of corporate sponsors.
Yeah.
Not only just in our technical committees. I mean, that is where a lot of our sponsorship happens, is with the technical committees. But then we also have organizations that want to support the work that we do.
Right.
So building workplace skills, the Skills USA frameworks, how we engage students with different learning opportunities or different organizational opportunities. This year, one of the coolest events that we've had, I mean, it was off the charts. It was National Signing Day at the beginning of May. And we had over 3,000 students signing letters saying that they were A, going to go to further education and post-secondary, or B, that they were immediately going to the workplace. Now imagine this. They had the employer standing there. They had other people standing there. They got the ball caps on. They're signing letters saying, I am now going to be successfully employed. I am going to work. Now, if you think about this, 3,000, there's a really official number like 3,064.
Yeah.
If all of them made just $20 an hour, that was a $121 million economic impact. If you really want to start celebrating stuff, it's like, how do we start really celebrating the fact that the engagement that we had with our students
Yeah.
drove an economic impact, gave people economic mobility, drove, it just brought all this there. And these are all good paying jobs. They have great wages. If you have skills, that's the thing. If you have skills,
Yeah.
nobody can ever take that away.
Right.
Nobody.
Nobody.
So life can happen, things can happen, but you will always have skills.
Yeah. Ron Usher, my favorite retired tech. Motorsports is an awesome way to attract potential techs.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree with you more, man. Nathan Williams, that's right, Jason. Be so blatantly supportive of young people that companies want to join you in doing so. Now, we in automotive, we talk about giving back to our communities.
Mm-hmm.
And more often than not, that involves the jersey or the baseball uniform that says to Billy's mom and dad, come buy a car from us. It's the underlying tone, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here, if they get involved in an organization like TechForce, like SkillsUSA, now we're talking about, I think it was Nathan made a comment before to teach some of the life skills, right? It'd be good if they could do that starting in ninth grade, I think he said. Well, that's exactly what you're doing.
Right.
When you partner with these organizations, you are developing, you are investing in your community. You're not just, it's not some T-shirt designed to get the parents to come in and buy a car. No, what you're investing in is young people getting into a trade that's going to help your community, because
Yeah.
that's going to help you with the technicians that you don't have enough of in order to be able to service those customers that are getting frustrated because they have to wait too long to come in, or maybe the repairs aren't being done correctly
Sure.
the first time. All of those things, it snowballs into a bigger problem. And
Well,
that's what you would be able to be a part of.
Yeah, and I think certainly if you're outside of an apprenticeship program or you look at labor laws, you look at all this stuff, there's certain rules you have to follow with youth that are under 18 years of
Correct.
age.
And
right?
insurance is one.
And insurance and all that. So it's there. But that doesn't mean that you can't invite or employ people 16 to 18. They may be limited in the scope of what they can work, but the relationships that they form, they're at the dealership or they're at that place of work.
Yeah.
Maybe they get a mentor, maybe they get somebody. So they may
Yeah.
not be doing everything, but you're starting to build this little ecosystem to where they get a mentor, they start building some technical skills. Surely they can't do anything. They've got other jobs to do, but part of their time they can spend in job shadow.
Right.
They can watch somebody do some really cool, interesting things. They can engage with it in a different way that really keeps that hook set
Right.
and makes them want to come work for you post graduation, or when they become of the right age to really be that gainful employee.
It's just, in my opinion, it's just the right recipe. I mean, I talk to so many dealers every day where some of the general managers, some of the executive management, they started as porters, right? They started as porters and worked their way up. You tap into youth
Yeah.
in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, and you give them an education and you paint the picture for them.
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story. I wasn't that employee, but I worked at a Chevrolet dealership in Merriam, Kansas. One of my first, I would call it my real job, because I wasn't in school. It was kind of like a gap year for me.
Yeah. Figuring out what the hell you
Yeah.
gotta
Figuring out what I was in the automotive space, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So I was running a dealer's parts counter. The parts warehouse was so big, we had to wear roller skates.
Oh, that's right. You told me
Yeah,
that.
we were wearing roller skates around this parts warehouse picking parts. I got pretty good at roller skating, by the way.
Man.
But yeah, the people that would just roll through that dealership was incredible, and some of them were lifers and stuff like that. But again, you think about a track, and here's the other thing: a lot of youth today, it's not maybe about today's job, what they're doing today. They want to see a path on what's tomorrow,
Right.
what's next month, what's next year.
Yeah.
How do I grow into these different opportunities? They understand that they're not going to be managers tomorrow. Okay, they get it.
Right. Well,
So-
some of them do. Some of the younger people today, it's 3 months. I need that plaque now.
Well, I think, okay, so that may be true, but I really think what they're saying is, what is my path forward?
Right.
What do I need to do? How do I need to engage? What do I
Career
need to learn?
path.
Yes. And if you can start showing them that career path, yeah, I want you to start as a porter. If you're successful here,
Yeah.
then this is step 2. When you're successful here, this is step 3.
Yeah.
Oh, your goal is you want to be a salesman one day. All right, let's put you on the path, but I need you to learn the business
Right.
first.
And it shows commitment too on the dealer's part, because it's not just some haphazard thing. Oh, have Johnny do this. No. You have an actual written plan that's signed by the employee or the technician
Mhm.
and the store that shows it's a two-way street. We will do for you, and we will help you get to that proficiency level. This is what we expect, and this is what you can expect in return, and we're willing to sign on the dotted line for that.
Yeah.
That's a huge commitment. Nathan says, and it goes without saying that parents need to support kids who want to enter trades instead of discouraging them from it. After all, I've heard that skilled trades often pay even more than business administrations or even CEOs. I don't know about the CEO part. But
Well, but there's good news here. There's
Yeah.
actually good news here. That Deloitte just came out with a study. It was I can't remember the date of the study, but the perception in skilled trades and manufacturing jobs among parents is changing.
that's
Meaning they're more supportive. They're coming around. They're saying, "Hey, Paul, it's worth. You need to go get that job. You need to go get the training, get the education, because there has been so much awareness around this. There's been so much going out of the media. The college debt situation, the time training, time to employment, time to employability, all of that. So really the perceptions are really starting to turn in the United States that skilled trades aren't dirty, dingy, weird jobs, that they're actually
That's
very good
way
paying
overdue.
jobs.
and I'm glad to hear that, because
Yes.
somebody entering college today, they're looking at $250,000 debt, and not necessarily a job that's going to pay them that, but somebody coming out of a tech school today and having the right training and the right skill set can easily earn 6 figures. And there are people that have gone to college, 4-year degrees, and some of them beyond,
Yeah.
that don't make that kind of money today.
No, they're good jobs, well-paying jobs.
Here, I'm going to play this video here because I just love this video.
Okay.
You know me. I'm just a younger version of you.
I like to tear stuff apart so I can put it back together.
My hands are my best tools. I learn with my hands.
So what would you tell me if I was the younger you?
Would you tell me to stop fidgeting?
Sit at my desk and try to be like everybody else?
Or that there's only one road to success?
Help me show the world that there's a profession right here in my hands.
Help me build my life and my career the way I'm wired to work.
If we stand together, stand for those of us who love working with our hands, we'll not only champion tomorrow's workforce of technicians, but we just may change the way everyone thinks about technical careers.
You figure out how to be you.
Now help me be me.
You want to cover any of this?
We did in the beginning.
Yep, we did. Yeah, I mean, that's a powerful message right there, you know? So I'm glad to hear that, that the narrative, if you will, and I hate that term, but that's changing
Yeah.
somewhat.
Well, and what I think is, and we still need to work on the narrative a bit, right? Because when you think about further training, further education, that's all post-secondary.
Right.
Some are going to happen at a community college. Some is going to happen at a technical school. Some is going to happen at these different places. But we will always be a consumer of knowledge,
Right.
right? We're always going to be learning. We're always going to be pushing the envelopes. We're always going to be doing something different. So even though we get skilled trades, even though we go into the trades or we go into these different pathways, there's still a lifelong learning track that we're on.
Right.
And the challenge is that we still need people to be doctors. We still need people to be business people. We still need people to go into these other viable
Right.
occupations too, but not the masses have to go into that.
Right.
And that's the difference. And I think now we're showing people is you can be just as successful. You can have your dream. You can have a great work-life balance. You can do all of these things and only go to school and training for 6 months and come out making $30+ an hour starting.
Yeah.
And that's a very good story.
And then to go back to that number, there's 0.75 people available for every job. I mean, people go to college for 4 years.
Yeah.
They spend buku dollars to hope to find a job, and many of them can't find a job. Right? And here's a career that you can get into for a fraction, I mean a fraction of that cost, and pretty much guarantee, unless there's something really wrong with you, you're going to get a job.
Well, and a lot of employers now are saying, I will pay for the training. I will pay for the school. If you will commit to me for so much time, I will pay for your schooling. I had my HVA system, you know, my air conditioner, my heater, everything went out.
Yeah.
I had to get it replaced. And the young kid, I mean, maybe in his young 20s, I said, hey, where'd you go to school? He's like, I didn't go to school. I'm, well, how'd you get into this? Well, I just got a job and I went through the apprenticeship program and I was trained up. And now he's running the crew that's installing these systems in residential houses.
And you can't get by without them, can you?
No, when that heat goes out or when that AC goes out on a 100-degree day.
Oh yeah,
So-
I'll miss work for that.
Oh, buddy. Yes. Yes. Or you get that phone call. You know, it's negative 40-degree wind chill outside and it's getting colder in the house.
And we actually had some heating and air conditioning woes at our retail store that I think it's finally solved. So yeah, no, I
Yeah.
feel your pain on that.
But it's true. I mean, employers now are looking at they're looking at different ways to attract and retain talent. And so the opportunities are endless. Go get the training first, find a position, find that job. Find a job, go get the training sponsored by the employer, and they just want to retain you. They want access and they want to retain you.
So, you know, this seems like a no-brainer to me, but I hear everybody complaining they can't get people when it's as simple as getting involved with these two organizations.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
meaningfully getting involved, not just, you know, just say you're involved. Meaningfully getting involved,
Right.
participating in these events, and you have at your disposal new moldable people.
Sure. I mean, so just taking the automotive space, most states have the automotive service technology competition, right?
Yeah.
So you might have 20 to 30 students competing at the state level. State. So if you want access to a high quality talent, get involved with the state.
Right.
You're going to see the best of the best right there at the state.
Those are your
Well,
local. They're your
Right,
local-
go to the regionals. If they have regional competitions at your state, go sponsor the regionals. And then go talk to those instructors. You know, what do the instructors need to be doing differently? What do they need to be
Right.
integrating in the classroom? Get on the advisory boards.
Or let me throw one other in there. What do they need?
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Equipment, tools.
Yeah.
What do they need? How can I help you to educate the kids.
And I remember when I was teaching ag mechanics, I had a great partnership with our local John Deere dealership. And so if I wanted to demonstrate something or show something, I may not have the tool, but I had a good enough relationship. I can go to
Back
John
that.
Deere and I could borrow the tool to demonstrate or do something. I might keep it a week,
Right.
but then I would take it back. I didn't have any cost in it.
Right.
Students could see it, they could have access to it. And it worked perfect.
Yeah. Nathan says he loves that video, and he says it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to employ good, skilled workers too. So that brings us to the end of our hour. Is there anything else top of mind that you want to
No.
impart upon our guests here?
No, I just thank you, Paul, for the time to be with you today. This was a great talk. But look, we are making a difference out there. SkillsUSA and TechForce together with this powerful force that we can work in the automotive space. We look forward to getting connected with even more people out there that can help both organizations. But anyway, thanks for helping bring the awareness.
So it's skillsusa.org
Correct.
and techforce.org. Put those into your browser, check them out, and see how you can get involved and help yourself. So with that, I want to thank you guys and gals for watching, those that watch it live every week and those that watch it on the replay. It means a lot. I wish you a safe and successful next week. We'll see you next week on Sunday Night Live. Thanks for watching.